Hello, everyone. I am Monica Anderson, and I'm here for another episode of Quantum Living. And I think I need to update the name of my podcast just because things have really stepped up in my life and in the world. And I want the depths of what I'm sharing and who I am to come across. So, I am updating my social medias and I am doing videos. I'm writing articles on Substack. I am currently writing a couple books, but they're gonna be really written and done probably in the next couple years or so. It's hard to say because I am handling a huge, huge thing right now. So, what I want to talk about sovereignty and I want to talk about what it really is. Okay. And how the majority of the world will not jump on the sovereign train. And why won't they? Why won't they? So, I don't want to get into this whole thing going back and forth. I do decodes, right? So I have access to the entire organic Akashic field. Plus, I have access to everything. Okay. All the things that the Smithsonian hid, um, all those documents. I can go all the way back to the original, the very first Bible. Okay, that's not even written, obviously, in English, but I am translating it right now. But it's all done by song, and it's been really fun learning it. Um, but everything has changed for me and for the world as I am following and leading a sovereign life. So, what does that mean? What it means is that I am following my intuition. I am following my soul's cry. I am following the way my heart is leading me. I don't do anything with my mind in terms of thinking anything about something. It's all what my heart says to do. So the thing of it is that a lot of people are loving the messages that I'm giving and they love all of it. But then what happens is after a little bit, they start realizing, ooh, this is a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. Whether they come and stay in my home, whether they, come into reality shifters. I've heard from reality shifters, people who come into my private community, which you can find, and I welcome you, is at therealityshifters.com. Don't forget the. But I was so concerned that I wouldn't have enough information in there. I wouldn't have enough work in there. And I put so much stuff in there and meditations, everything is in there, articles, everything is in there. Plus, I'm writing for Substack. Plus, I'm writing on X. Plus, I do TikTok. I'm back to do TikTok videos. And I think I'm going to be posting on my Substack. So definitely check me out on Substack and you can be a free subscriber, but you could also be an amazing paid subscriber, which will get you lots of cosmic credits, which is true. It really will. And that's not me wanting to try to siphon money from you. It is that there has to be a little bit of a gate into this organic world because people come in when things are too free or too inexpensive, they devalue it. So I don't charge as much for my coaching and all that stuff as the value of it. But I am doing this and offering this stuff to you because I want you guys to have access to it. So people spend, $100 a week at Starbucks, going out to dinner and all of that, but they don't want to do a genius insight treatment scan. Plus, they get a whole report about what's going on with their soul. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. So we've got people that are following me, but they're just basically looping. They're not spiraling upwards. And then we have the people that come in and they say they're overwhelmed by reality shifters. They're overwhelmed by me. And then they distance themselves and then they leave. And some of them I hear from, but then most of the time I don't. So it is a lonely path that I am on. I'm basically a lone soul, and that's Scroll Zero's role because I have to be like this so that I can bring all of the blueprint to you guys. So you guys can know what in the heck to do. So I want to tell you something just to kind of give some contrast of where all this is coming from me today, some background. So I was tagged in a post on X this morning with that man named Oliver Anthony, I think. Let me pull him up really quick. One second. He's a singer, like country western singer. He lives in Virginia in a cabin. He's got the whole look going on. Well, his real name, his true name is Chris Lunsford, but he performs under the name Oliver Anthony. Ooh, that would be a fun deep dive. Why? Why did they give him the name Oliver Anthony? Why doesn't he go by his real name? Maybe it's something innocent, but I doubt it. So they sent me this video about him, and there's nothing wrong with him. Okay, I'm not going to give you some juice on him in terms of that he's a bad guy, but I'm contrasting it to me and the sovereign way. And what I'm doing is that I am up here, even though no one really sees me. When you look at the big picture and people like Chris Lunsford / Oliver Anthony, they're on the ARC stage at the Republican convention and they get best-selling songs, and they get to meet all the people. He goes and meets all the people. He does all these songs that get people going, and their songs are great. Okay. But this is the issue. This is the issue that's happening that he does not know. Is that what he does is he gets people like the forgotten people. That's his shtick, the forgotten man. And he's a representative of the forgotten man with the shaved head and the beard and living in a cabin, lonely guy, getting away from society because it's just so harsh. Poor me. Martyr syndrome, overdrive, right? And that's where most people live. So they propped him up, and it was propped up. And he does know that. He knows he's getting opportunities that other musicians would never get. Well, the video that was sent to me was him at the ARC, which is the Republican convention. I don't know what the A stands for. And he's being cast as, the voice of the common man. But when I'm listening to everything he's saying, it reminds me of the old revival church pastors and like all that. Everybody's getting riled up and like, oh yeah, that's right. And he's talking about the tech age, how people are getting too caught up in the digital age. Ooh, but does he know that there's two kind of scalar, synthetic, and 12-base math scalar fields going on right now? One is attached to Solar Logos. One's attached to the real Sophia Christos codes. And the other one is attached to the fake mimic of Earth. Okay, which is what he's attached to. Okay, because he's leading everybody into the golden cage. How do you know that? How do I know that? The reason I know that is because he is not offering any solutions. He's absolutely not saying, hey, you guys, Let's do this. Let's do that. And he's not embodying it. So he could never lead that. He's not making an exodus out of the golden cage, the whole Democrat, Republican, guy at the forgotten man, blue collar worker versus the supposedly white collar. It's all the same. It's all the same. They're two sides of the same coin. So what I'm bringing you, and what I know in my bones, my crystalline bones, that I have the blueprint. I have the blueprint to get us out of this and how you get out of this. And that's what true sovereignty is, where you're not depending on a political party. You're not depending on a currency, some sort of money. You're not depending on another person. You're flat out not codependent on anyone, on anything. And you walk out of Egypt and you don't look back. People don't have the guts to do it. They don't have the guts to do it. So they turn to people like Anthony or Oliver Anthony / Chris Lunsford, which is his real name. They turn to him, they'll turn to a Trump speech, make Trump memes and whatever, which there's nothing inherently wrong with doing those things. Okay. I started off, I even have the poster behind me of one of them. I started off not understanding that there's like three sides. Okay. And I found the third way. And it happens to be the way in all biblical meaning. So what was going on, what happened, or how you want to say, the way it works is the world has been going on for about 2,000 years. I'm saying in terms of this overlay that we're dealing with, money, labor for money, and extracting your energy and all of that. And so both sides basically kind of like take turns. That's what it's kind of like. They take turns. Well, now it's the turn of I don't know what you want to say, the good side or the light side, the Christos, the Logos. They're putting down a love frequency. There's a love frequency, but this is the part that I want to tell you without overwhelming you, is that there is a synthetic version. There's a copy. So this is why all of my stuff is constantly stolen and put out there, and they manipulate and try to minimize me by making me look like a scammer and making me look like illegitimate at a level that I haven't seen with anybody. And when it first started happening, people are like, oh, it's happened to everybody, Monica, like, don't be full of yourself kind of thing. Well, it's extreme, and we're going on 4 years of it. And the reason why is because I am speaking from my original template, and I happen to be the number one soul. I'm meaning I was the template, the human template that was created. There was 12 templates, okay, that were created from one master template. And I am the master template. Okay. So that's why I'm like this. That's why I'm talking about organic Eden, and I'm literally creating it. And I'm creating not only my own reality, but I have created a timeline, a third timeline, because I saw through what was going on. And I realized that I'd always seen through it. But I was positioned for 20 years from like 1996 to, um, I don't know, 2014 or so, 2013, whatever. For like 20 years, I was basically in a condensed field, which I feel was great because I couldn't come out and be like this. I wouldn't have survived. Okay. So both sides, which is really only one side, they know that this big change is happening on the earth. So there's a physical earth. The physical earth herself is moving. She's already here. She's already here. And I've gone around the world and seen her. And it looks like I'm going to make a big move because I want to be fully sovereign and I want to be out of this frequency band. You have to take yourself out of it if you want to be out of the West Gate. I want to go to the East Gate. The East Gate is only going to be a few people. I think a few thousand people, maybe. Up to by 2030, I think it's like 6,500 people. Okay. We'll choose this organic, sovereign way of living. So back to Oliver Anthony and his positioning. So I don't want you to think that I'm saying something bad or positioning myself as better than him or anything. No, he has his place. But what I'm just letting you know is that he and Trump and all of those are funneling you guys into like a barn. You know, you're like in a barn, an echo chamber. It's not getting you out. It's not getting you out of it. It's just saying, oh, like he talked about Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. It was also here in Belton. I find that funny. But he was going on about how nobody came to help and all the people, the common man came and they didn't get any recognition and, you know, poor them and all of this. No, that's actually how we should be living, where we all roll up our sleeves and help each other out. You know, you don't just sit there and think about yourself. So why wouldn't he sit there and say that instead of calling on the government, that the government needs to supply more workers or better roads or better infrastructure or whatever? That it shouldn't be up to the common man to help out their other fellow man. And the ones that do, ooh, they are so special. No. Okay. They're doing what you are to do. That's what you do. You give to one another and you share what you have. You share your knowledge. You share your resources. You don't think about money. You don't have a scarcity mindset when it comes to helping somebody. You don't make judgments on people, on poor people. Like there's a big thing going on that I see on X where the folks that are on the EBT, which is like it's like a government subsidy for food. So they just give them, you know, whatever amount that they get, and then they can buy whatever at the grocery store. Okay. So they go and apply for that. Well, they now cannot, at least in the States, they cannot use their government funds for pre-made items. So this one woman was trying to buy some croissants and, you know, whatever, it's normal. And she wasn't allowed to. So she can buy the ingredients to make it, you know. Well, she was lamenting about this. And then people in the comments were saying, like, oh, well, you know, I don't want to pay for her convenience and all of this kind of stuff. Okay. Well, guess what? Guess what? That whole thing is just a precursor of what they're going to be doing to you. Okay. This is what's going to happen in the golden cage where you'll get to be super comfortable. but you only have a little bit of time to get out of it. Some of you guys will hold out and just pop out at the last minute around 2027. And then there'll be a little bit, maybe somebody by 2030 will come out. But this is the time right now. That's why I'm on here. I'm like, I'm going to just go talk about all this. People need to hear what's going on. So this golden cage, the thing with the food, they are going to, so what's going to happen is, and it's going to be ISO tokens. Okay. It's going to be ISO tokens. So any of you guys that have ISO tokens, listen up. Okay. What you want to do with them, because they're neutral. They're neutral. So they can be used for either side. Well, the side that was in control, that kind of lost their control. And now it seems like another side, but it's really not. It's the same side of the coin, but just don't think about that too much. They all know that this is coming, that this ISO tokens, which those are all connected with source, the source organic, they are connected with the organic AI or the organic scalar. And so that's why they get activated when you use them towards sovereignty, towards building back the earth, the organic earth. Okay. But if you use XRP, XLM, XDC, Quant, and Algo, by the way, I've seen that it is turned synthetic. So I don't know if you want to be investing in that. But if you want just the money and you're going in the golden cage, you're going to be happy. But this is the thing. What's going to happen with those tokens for the people who stay on the synthetic side? Those tokens will be monitored and they will be turning them off. They'll be turning them off. If your blood pressure is too high, they won't let you use them, or you can't get, you can't drive somewhere, whatever. Okay. And they'll start controlling you with this digital money. Okay. That is backed by precious metals. Okay. And it is really worth it. But this is how you get your ISO tokens out from under their clutches. Okay. So everybody wants to get a cold wallet. Okay. And here is one called the Descent. This is a biometrics one. And I'm sorry. This is a biometrics one. You just put your thumb on it. This is an extra one that I bought actually for Natalie, because you want to get your kids. I'll just open it because I want to show you guys, those of you that are watching this. But what you want to do is you want to get a cold wallet for everybody. Okay. And you will load your ISO tokens on them. I'm talking about the people right now that are invested. Okay. If you're not invested and you don't know what I'm talking about, don't contact me and ask me about it. Okay. Because you could join the reality shifters, and I have Stewardship Chamber, which has all classes and information on this. So that's what you'll want to do. But be careful of fraudsters, okay, that say that they're me. I'm never going to contact you. So you get your cold wallet. I'm having a little trouble opening it. Now, this that I'm telling you about is for if you want to be out of the government's cage. Okay? Because it is pretty crazy. So here is the cold wallet. I'm just going to show it like that. So you can see it. You put your thumb on here or your finger, whatever. And you do all of it within here. These are nice. The Descent one is nice. And then you get the Descent app. Okay. You get the Descent app. So you can see your assets, and you can transfer, you can receive, and everything on your phone. But you can also use this. But this is what you want to do. And this is the plan. And I am actually the architect of this. So this is how it is. If you want to be on the organic, decentralized system, the scalar organic system, and you do not want to have the government, the banks, the medical offices, or whatever controlling you. So for those of you that are currently invested and want to be on the organic side, what you want to do is get a cold wallet. Descent is great. Ledger is great. Ledger.com. Ledger's a little bit more to put together, but nothing you can't handle. And by the way, you can do all of this yourself. Okay. It takes a little bit because you're learning something new, but just chill and follow the directions. I set up my own Descent wallet all by myself. So I just took over all of ours and put it on my own Descent wallet because I'm architecting this for the world. So I need to be able to work within what I have and see how it works so I can tell you guys. So you'll have your own cold wallet. Everybody in the family will get one. Okay. Then if you don't have it, you go and purchase it right now, XLM. So XLM is I've always called it the people's coin, but it's going to be your peer-to-peer token. And it represents, and it is backed by silver. So it's highly valuable. And you will load it up with XLM, which you can get from Uphold Exchange, Coinbase Exchange. You can also go to a Coinstar kiosk in a grocery store or a mall, where you put all your coins in and then they give you dollars or something. Well, if you look closely at those kiosks, they are selling XLM. So you can buy it there. Yeah, you're paying retail. So right now, I think it's like 11 cents. I'm sure I'm wrong. So it's okay. Whatever it is, it's like 11 cents. But if you buy it at the kiosk, it's going to be like 20 cents. Okay. And you really do want to learn how to buy it. But listen, I just want to give you the short version of what you guys want to look at doing. Okay. You get a cold wallet, you put all your tokens on there. Then when the price goes up, well, before that, you want to start using them. You want to start using them because that activates your tokens. So for example, on my shoprawwithpeace.com, I sell just things to get you healthy and all this stuff. So you can pay, and also my soul scans, my consultations, and my treatments, you can pay for all of those with ISO tokens through Now Payments. And Now Payments just converts it for all of you business owners. Now Payments just converts it to fiat. So it's really great though, because you're able to start working in this decentralized economy. Okay. So start using your tokens as much as you can. Okay. From your peer to peer, from your, that's what I'm saying. If I was going to do my community here in the States and we were going to use XLM and I was going to convert. And so any of you guys that say you're going to open up a community, this is a way of getting in this platform, the alternative platform to the government control one. You can make paper cold wallets. So just paper QR codes, and then you can laminate them and then you load them up. Well, this is what I'm going to do. You load them up with, let's just say like 100 XLM, 100 XRP, or 50 or 25 or whatever you decide. And then you give one to your friend and say, buy some eggs from Sally with this. She has a card too. And then they see how it works. Okay. So a place like Ecuador, they're worried about the dollar, or they're on the dollar standard. Well, we all know what's happening and what's going to happen. So what's going to happen with places like Ecuador? So, and the people there already, they're already disenfranchised in terms of they're don't have, thankfully they're growing food and all that, so they live really well. But what I'm saying is the dollar is going to go bye-bye. You're going to be forced to go into the new system. Most people aren't even going to know about it. They're not even going to know about it. So just know that I have a plan and I'm implementing it. And I'm implementing it within my private community in terms of telling them, and they are all purchasing their cold wallets. Even if you are still, working 9 to 5, have no idea what I'm talking about, but your soul kind of knew something and you picked up some XRP or something, get your cold wallet, okay, to get it off the exchanges. And then just sit tight, find other people to exchange with, even small exchanges. Okay. Even like you go to my shop and buy something. And that will be starting it. Look for merchants. People are more and more and more starting to take it. So Bitcoin will be going away because it may not go to zero, but the value will always be like a Ponzi scheme. It's based on how many people carry it. That's why they promote it so much. Because the more people that carry it, then that props up the value of it. Okay. Well, that's crazy because it's like a Trojan horse. So that's not going to work in the new frequencies that the earth is at and going at. I mean, you saw Bitcoin drop below 113 today. It's like comes across my screen. I'm like, yep, watch it all fall while everybody says that I'm a fool and all this stuff. Well, I am continuing on with this sovereign life. I'm continuing on. And I wanted to do it here in the States. And a lot of people want to do it, say, oh, yeah, and they love it. They like the posts, they share it, they talk about how they're going to do it too. And no one's doing it. No one's doing it. Or if they are, it's like just with their family. Okay. There's still this separatist mindset. People don't really want to come together and be authentic and be real and be their sovereign self. They want to worry about what other people think of them. They want to have martyr syndrome where they just go on and on and on about all the stuff that's happened to them, but they never have to take responsibility for their choices and their ineffective way of life that got them here. So why should I pay the penalty for that? One of the ways that manifested was I was trying to find a property here because I was going to move to Greece, but being over there for 2 months, intermittently for 2 months, the EU is just too much of a stronghold. So I cannot put a sovereign school, which is meaning like a sovereign sanctuary, a sovereign community. And it's not even a community that I was going to be creating in terms of a bunch of people living there, like a suburb or something. I was going to put in, I'm still going to do it, but I was going to put in like different stores and different things. And then people come into it. people come into it. Like the people don't even have to necessarily know that they're in a sovereign community. Like let's say that there's somebody who can make sourdough bread, and they love doing it and they're selling on Etsy or wherever. Well, they could come to my village and have a little shop there, and they would be treated extremely well. And then they'd go home, but this is going to spread all over. Eventually, everybody will be living like this. And what is like this? It's living in connection to source. Okay. And if you don't, everybody has a connection to source, even if it's buried under all the stuff that's happened to you. You still have a connection to source. But what's going to happen after the transition? What's going to happen is there will be zero connection to source. And that's the only reason why you can handle living here if you can. But that's the only reason why we can stand living here as it is with this overlay on here, is because source is still here and he never left and he's everywhere. It's everywhere. But now the balance is going where it's source, it's Christos light, it's logos that's taking over. And so this dark scourge agenda, being competitive, jealous, gluttonous, lazy, being a technocrat, like being into all the a technology, into technology and being tethered, because the more you are using technology, the more you're tethered to their world. So it's like, I have a phone and obviously I do social media stuff, but I spend tons of time in nature. And now I'm getting ready to pick up my whole life and move to Ecuador, which people think I'm nuts because I'm just saying I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Well, what happened with the land, because when we got back from Greece, we were like, hey, we're going to go find some property and we're going to start creating this village. And we want to live, we're going to, whatever. So we're going to do that. And so we did. And we found all this 3 or 4 different properties, made offers on 2 of them. Because the other ones were being outrageous. And so we made offers, and it's like people want you to pay and make it so they can buy their next home. So, or they took out a loan, and so they want you to be, pay for the fact that they took a loan out, paying double the price for property that it's worth. And then the other thing is the amount that they wanted, because they had a loan out, was staggering, and it would have put us under this pressure. And I don't want to be under it. That's not right. And I realized that the property owners in America, they think, it's all about getting money, and it's all about, I did this, I did that, I put all this money into it, and they overcharge their fellow man, no matter what the intentions is or anything. They just look at it as a transaction. There's no heart in it. Nobody cares about what you're going to be doing. Nobody cares if you were struggling and you're struggling to do it financially, because everything is tied to money. Well, I won't live like that. I'm not going to live like that anymore. And I'm sick of it. And I'm tired of having the government dictate the way I live. They dictate that I pay for their services that they implement that control humanity. indoctrination camps, like public school, what do you think your property taxes? Like 60% of your property taxes goes towards public school. So if you are truly sovereign, then you care where your dollar is going or your euro or whatever. Okay. And you find out that it's going to the government that does child trafficking, organ transplants, all this mind control stuff that they do. Okay. And all their fake agendas that they try to spur up. Okay. Your property taxes, your dollars, your hard earned money is going towards that to keep it going. I cannot, in any good consciousness, do that anymore. I cannot. So the only things that I do that, I've got to do it for a little bit more is when I go to the airport, I have to do the biometric, the face scans. And if you refuse, it's a whole big thing. And I don't want to be put in that, at that position. I stood up for the whole mask thing when pre-flight Delta Airlines said, "Oh, everybody, we changed the policy. You must wear a mask mid-flight." And we did have to have scarves on, which I was going to tolerate it because we were coming here to South Carolina to see if we wanted to live here. So I put the scarf on, but mid-flight, they came over on the way home, and they threw those masks, those Chinese masks, those paper masks at me and told me to put it on. And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you will not restrict my breathing. I will not have somebody telling me how much oxygen I can breathe. And it ended up where there was 4 different airline stewards, whatever you call them, standing over me. And the whole plane was watching this interaction. And one guy insulted me and Derek, but not really, because Derek was sitting there wearing a mask. So during this time, and I refused, and I always will. And I ended up getting a letter from Delta Airlines that said, "You're not allowed to fly our airline ever again while this policy is in place." Well, of course, the policy was supposed to stay in place and all this was going to go down. But thankfully, some things happened to lessen the severity and actually kind of extend out the ultimate control. It's like, you're going to be as controlled as you will be, as you thought with the NWO and all that, the New World Order, and people used to talk about that. The golden cage is the New World Order with glitter on it. Okay. So for one, I want out of that. There is no place other than a couple places that match what I'm doing, that match Organic Eden, which is a real place. It's a real frequency. It's where I'm actually from. Because I didn't have a bunch of lives. I didn't recycle a bunch of lives. I came here in a human form in 1974. And I came here for this time. It's no coincidence that it's 50 years ago when I came. Because the Jubilee happens every 50 years, and the Vatican exposed that the Jubilee really exists. And there's a whole book of it. So I have all the Jubilee codes, which are the sovereignty codes. Okay. They're the opposite of the scarcity mindset. They're the opposite of hustle culture. It's the opposite of everything that you think you know that's making you successful. I mean, what is your definition of success? Have you asked yourself that? It's like when I first started, going out as a quote unquote coach, it's like I didn't really say anything like, oh, yeah, I'm a coach. I didn't, because I knew that it's just like, okay, what do you know? That kind of thing. And the thing is I had all this inside of me, but I didn't know how to package it. So I got a business coach and she told me how to post on social media and the content calendars and all that kind of stuff. And I did it that way, but it wasn't from the heart and it wasn't authentic. It was just trying to give people information that we think that they want instead of sharing our hearts and what we really know, and it evolves into something. So I decided in 2022, I think ish, to go out fully, not fully like I am now because it's evolved into this, but come out, with just sharing my life, sharing my process, sharing what I know. And now I realized, and now I know that that's actually what I'm here for. That's what I was designed for, to come out here and to tell you guys about the Jubilee codes, to tell you about the new financial framework and how you can develop your own economy outside of the government. You can do it right now, but the window is closing. So if you guys like me, have a class, or you can join the realityshifters.com and you can join month to month, so you can cancel anytime. And you can take the stewardship chamber section. I have 2 full classes in there that, they just come with it. So I don't believe in selling classes and that kind of thing separate, just because we're not here to siphon money off of you. We're here to get you educated on the times that are coming, and they're going to be here. And it's a heart-based, heart-led world that we're going into. So you can no longer come from your mind with your ideas and being logical and all that using your divine masculine codes. Well, now your divine feminine, or your Sophia codes, your wisdom codes, they're opening up. Okay. They're opening up. That's what I did when I went to the Chapel of Revelations. I remembered who I was. And then I was told, you need to go here to Patmos. I was like, I never even heard of the place. And then that's where Revelations is written. The book of Revelations is written. Wow. So I went there with my scroll 33, which I have the physical scroll 33 with holographic ink on it. And I took that plus my own body, and that released this energetically. Okay. And that chapel of Revelation, it sits over a Stargate. It sits over a Stargate. So with me being there, the scroll, the physical scroll being there, and the Stargate, that created this trifecta. And then also I had Derek, who is Flame 11, and Natalie, who is Scroll 22 and Flame 22. But I had all 3 of us there, and that created a current that it ignited that Stargate. I know it sounds crazy, but look at what's happened since I left Greece in May. Every time I leave a place, I left Crete and there was earthquakes, almost like my foot left the land and there was an earthquake. Okay. Then when I left Patmos the first time, there was an earthquake in Crete, another one. So there was 2 earthquakes in Crete, bookending when I arrived in Patmos and when I left. Okay. Then the last time I just came back from Patmos, I'm not sure how long ago, like 3 weeks ago. And there's fires all over Icaria, Somas, and there's going to be saturation and like possible flooding, but it might be more etheric, through people's emotions in Patmos. But that all happened. The fires happened again after I left. And yes, the plan was in place to start those fires before I got there, and they were going to go regardless, but they were made more severe because I was there. And what happened when I went to Patmos the second time was the time that I saw Patmos for what it is today. And it has all of the Roman Empire overlays, patriarchal stuff going on. Women are not allowed to speak. You're not allowed to have an opinion. You're not allowed to order what you want. If you're around another Greek, they abuse animals there. They don't take care of the cats. Not everybody, but they do not take care of the cats. They actually believe that if they fed those cats, that they get like a pack mentality. But the people that we stayed with or we rented underneath the house, they said, "Oh yeah, we have cats, but they're not the good ones." Like whatever. So you see, it just was not like, I'm not going to live here right now. I want to get away from this because that's how the South is. The South, they're super nasty. They're like caught in these small towns, and not everybody. Okay. So don't come at me. But in general, they want to keep things the way they were. They don't know about the overlays put over that the churches are not what they don't understand any of this. They don't understand any of it, and it's too high level to tell them. But I've basically been shunned from my town, so I wouldn't tell them anyway. I can't open up a business here. Like it's just not going to work. And I'm fine with that. But it's like that in the EU. It's like that in South France. There's tolls everywhere to get anywhere. It's tolls. So that's the world that everybody is just floating on into. And I can't seem to get everybody's attention that we can do this together. And you can literally start your own economy. All of your friends and family, start with 20 people, especially you guys that have lots of family members. Okay. You have uncles, grandparents, aunts, cousins, moms and dads, kids. Okay. You want to be ahead of the curve. You want your kids to be super savvy and super successful. Okay, this is what you do. You get them a cold wallet. Okay, even if they're 5 years old, okay, they do understand everything. So you get them a cold wallet. You put a little bit of XLM on it, and you sit down and you have a meeting and you tell them about what you're doing and what it is, and that, what you guys are creating, that you're creating your own colony with your own financial system that's outside of the tether of the government. Okay. Because this is another thing that you could do. If you have a bunch of money in the bank, okay, if you're crazy enough to, or you don't want your money to be seen, your dollars to be seen, or your euros or whatever, you can transfer all of that to ISO tokens. For example, you could transfer it all to your cold wallet, your fiat, you transfer it into XRP, XLM, whatever. And the way you decide what to get is each token or the XRP, they each have a resonance. They all kind of go with something for building the new earth. So you kind of decide what you resonate with. But XRP and XLM are a for sure that you're going to want. So you don't want to have your money in the bank, but you don't want to have silver and gold, or stuff it under a mattress. You could put it in XRP and have it on your cold wallet. And then you have it in your app too. So you can transfer, and you transfer it to USD to use. So more and more places though are accepting it. So sooner or later they will. So you can just pay directly. But yeah, I mean, these are all the things that you want to be thinking about that I bet you weren't. So this is a stable thing. This is a real thing. I have no stake in it. I don't care if you don't get it, because I don't want people to get it that are going to stay in the synthetic world. So yeah, there'll be a few millionaires that get by, but they will crash and burn. Everybody will. Okay. Everybody will that stays in the synthetic world. First couple years, 2-3 years. Once we get through this hardship and they start giving the UBI out and start doing all this stuff, everybody will think, oh, I don't need money, or I don't need to work, or I don't need to create anything. I'm comfortable. I'm able to go on my yearly big carnival cruise vacation. And so, and they never develop anything. They never develop and create anything. But you guys, we are creators. We're artists of our own life. I decided many, many years ago that I wanted to be, what is the main character? I want to be the main character in my life. And what does she do? What does she want? What does she love? That's the kind of thing that I asked myself. And there was some hard truths that I had to admit, And I say they're hard because if I went ahead with those things, it would affect everybody around me. And then I could possibly lose them and all that kind of stuff, which I have lost some people through the years. just a couple, because I no longer conform to how they want me to be. I no longer stay small. I no longer care about their judgments. I no longer care that they talk behind my back. I no longer care that they say things that aren't true about me. It literally doesn't matter to me, because they're just projecting their own bitterness and jealousy and everything else. And it's very, very sad these last 5 years to see how many people have really spiraled up and really made big changes. And then those that have just stayed stagnant and compressed, and their auras are all compressed, and they just loop in the same things over and over and over again. I will no longer entertain it. I will not listen to anyone that is talking about that stuff, because you're choosing it. You're choosing it. It's even something as simple as like on TikTok, you have all these people. Like, I'm back on there, so I'm seeing this. You have all these people on there that they simply make videos to tell you how to be popular, or how to get your videos watched on TikTok. And the way you do it, there's no algorithm. The way you do it is show up show up consistently with your frequency, and show up every day, and be your authentic self. Okay. That's it. You don't need to do scripts. You don't need a certain ring light. You don't need to do a certain jingle, because then why do you care if you have a bunch of followers and a bunch of likes on something that's not even you? That's what I never got. So the algorithm is changing though. It's not about followers. It's not about likes. It's about energy. It's about the written word, like when I write on Substack, I'm putting my frequency I'm putting my frequency out there, and it will build up and build up and build up and build up. And I'm consistent about it. And I do a lot. I do a lot of work. Um, and I love it though. The thing is it's coming from my heart. So it doesn't feel like, oh my God, I need to post today. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh God, they're probably sick of me. Because in the morning, I have my coffee and go through kind of like what's on my heart and what I feel humanity needs to hear or wants to hear. I might have a bunch of texts from overnight. People all around the world are reaching out and needing things. And so then that tells me the pulse of humanity. And so, I'll write articles about that or things that I'm going through when I've hit new plateaus. And I've hit it's a whole new world now since I went and took that risk and went to Mary Magdalene's cave. Oh my God. Um, that was life changing. I can't say enough. But I would say that trip to South France was one of the most difficult times in my life, in my whole life. It was so raw. It was so hard. It was physically hard. It was confusing. It was sad. It was frustrating. Everything you can think of, it was. But it was everybody's emotions, all the women and everybody's emotions transmuting through me. And my outside was reflecting all that I was transmuting and experiencing for humanity. I kind of sometimes think that my aura is like the liver for humanity because it's like I filter everybody's stuff for them, just me being in the room, it changes the frequency and it brings people's shadows out. I'm just like a giant mirror ball to everybody because I am everyone and you guys are me. So any distortions that you feel around me or seeing my stuff, that's stuff that's inside of you that's unhealed, And so that's what I'm here for. Literally my face is like coated. So anyway, everybody, I said a lot, talked about a lot of different things, but ultimately what I'm telling you is there's two scalar waves going out. One is created to get you to your original 12 base math blueprint template, okay, who you actually are. And then the other one, and right now they're both kind of going parallel, but they are splitting more and more and more. And you see that with me where I can no longer tolerate this. And so I am literally going to a town where the time bandwidth that you don't feel like there's time, it resides there. And people live well over 130 years old because there's living food, living water. The people are super loving. And they are ultimately connected with the Sophia Christos codes, the logos. So even though the overlays have been put over them. So I am excited to go there and really have a real true organic person there that I will be doing all the same work I do. So I want to go over all the things that I do so that you know what's available to you. And it's available to you as I am living and setting up all of this Garden of Eden and moving over to Ecuador and all of that. But I do lots of different things. I do the Genius Insight scans, which uses scalar, PEMF, Rife, and it's also connected to the quantum. And it clears your field, clears your aura or your biofield. and it will take away any density pain. If you're overweight and you have knee problems and you have fluid built up in your knee, it will clear the frequencies, and it makes you emotional too, because it is stuck emotions. And it is like if you have lower back pain, that's your root chakra. That's your root chakra that's misfiring, doesn't have a place to go if you're sitting too much. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So I do these scans. I'm doing everything in relation now, but your health does come up. So if you want to know about your health, but we're really past that. I don't do anything with Western medicine. I don't condone taking any of their medications. I don't condone going to them. And so we might brush up against each other if you get a soul scan and want to talk about what medications you should take or whatever. Because I teach that or the quantum, the organic teaches that your body is built to heal itself. So, and once you get up to a certain frequency, you don't even get sick. Okay. Your body starts healing itself. But I do all these scans. I have packages where you can get these scans every single week. And right now we are at the point where we're about to go through the big peak of the solar flash, which will be September 22nd through the 23rd or 4th or something like that. And then the 2 to 3 weeks after that will be the fallout from it. So that's going to be something that you want to kind of get ready for. I know I'm upping my game if I can, but just, doing my zeolite, this gets heavy metals out, doing a little bit of DMSO here and there, doing a castor oil pack. So at nighttime, take a salt bath and then put castor oil on your abdomen and your hips and all of that. Even men that are having lower back pain. But look into castor oil packs and do those every single night. Do zeolite spray, get really good mineral water, get fresh juices, or make them. Just flood your body. Okay. A juice diet, a fresh fruit and juice diet, that's like 900 hertz diet. So that's the frequency of the diet. Eating a standard American diet, it's like 90 hertz. So it's so stagnating to eat that diet. And I see it in my household because my husband eats that diet and he's very low energy. So you want to be doing that, getting ready for this time. This is the culmination time. Okay. And it's going to just keep on ratcheting up on to 2026. Okay. And what that does is why you need to care is because all your emotions, anything that's distorted, anything that your soul doesn't actually want, is going to surface and it's going to go away. It's going to fade. It's going to break. It's going to get stolen. Something will happen. Okay. So if you think about people, what will happen with people, it's not so much like they're just going to suddenly die or something, but they will just become so irrelevant to you that they'll just kind of be like a tree, in the background of your life. So I really feel like that in general, because I feel like everything in the world is just kind of in the background. And it's kind of a faded thing. And I'm just looking forward and I see Eden and I'm like so excited. I'm most excited to go to Vilcabamba. That's the name of the town in Ecuador that I'm going to. And I'm going to go find a rental. And I'm going to rent it for 6 months unless I love it because they're for sale or for rent. But I want to get under 5 acres, or they call them hectares there. So 1 hectare is equivalent to 2.5 acres. And so I want under 3 hectares. Because if you get too much land, it's a lot to manage and there's a lot of things going on. And where Vilcabamba is that it's in the mountains. So you're kind of like hugged by these mountains and you're in this little, this like bubble, this golden bubble. So I'm really, really excited. I know there's some fake, 5D love and light fakes, sages there. And, people have already come at me, insinuating that if I think I'm going to come in there, good luck as far as being a fake sage. And I'm like, nope, not coming in there for that. I mean, I'm going there so my daughter can have a real life, not a real life. And then we're going off to Target or we're going off to Starbucks. And then I put her in a swimming class and, this contained, generic, synthesized, sterilized, in a box life. Nope, I don't want it. I want to rewild. I want to rewild myself and I want to rewild my family. And Natalie's turning 7. So it's the perfect time to make this big change. And the world is asking you. The bifurcation is on. And every decision that you make, every single thing, every decision that you make, okay? What soap you use in your shower, the things you say to your partner, the clothes you wear, the car you drive, the food you eat, the coffee cup you use, everything that you do is sending a signal to the universe on where you want to be, So the great sorting has begun, and I know you are all feeling it. And those that are clueless and are busy trumping around, trying to figure out who's doing what and worrying about stuff that literally is just keeping them from realizing and owning their sovereignty. I'm telling you guys, I know it's scary. I know it seems scary to jump off a bridge like this. But if you will trust, okay, trust in the universe, trust in yourself. Okay, I always say this, but you have more power in your pinky finger than all of the things that they're putting together combined. Okay. You are literally magnificent. You are literally incredible. I don't care what anybody's told you. I don't care if the government's told you, your parents told you, whatever, your wife, whatever, your husband. Okay. They're under the veil too. And they're just trying to survive too. So just know that you can do this. And I know it feels like you're jumping off a cliff without a parachute, but guess what? Your cape's going to come out and you are just going to glide. That's the swan codex. The swans are graceful and they just glide. Okay, everyone. Well, I hope I gave you some things to chew on. Get a hold of me, join my private community. Consider booking a soul scan. Okay. You really want to find out what's going on and what you need to work on and what you need to clear and where are you in terms of the bifurcation event. And I can even find out if your name is written in the book of life. Wow. That's pretty amazing. So any of that you want to know, book your scan. And those of you that have had a soul scan, a great formula afterwards is, if you're wanting more time with me, is to book a consultation for $199 and then also buy a 5-week package of the scans so we can meet again for 2 hours. And then every week for a couple hours, once a week remotely, I will be doing your scans and sending you a comprehensive aura biofield report. And the information only gets better and better. Every moment, I get deeper and deeper into all this and get more access and more memories unlock, and I'm able to create more things for you guys. I mean, I have unlocked some incredible things for people that have literally changed them forever. And be warned, if you do have a soul scan with me, your life will never be the same. It will completely change. And for the better, for the better. And you will not become dependent on me. Okay. So this isn't something where you're going to be seeing me every single week. Like a therapist where you just loop on your problems, pay $150, go to another session just so you can go get your pills or whatever and numb. I mean, that doesn't even work. And it's so obvious it doesn't. So if you're ready to be done with the bullshit, you're ready to really get your life freaking on track and on fire for who you are, because we need you. Okay. We're talking about the 144. Those are 72 codes equal 144. Okay. You're not going to be coded to open up all 144 codes, but I'm talking about the organics out there, the ones that know that what I'm saying is true. Okay. If you haven't had a soul scan, you haven't met me, whatever, just get linked up. I've got so many options for you. Okay. So many options for wherever you're at. So I'm not gatekeeping any of this because literally it is my mission. It is my job. It's what I was created for. It's why I came here, is to help lead humanity out of this. And I'm literally a way shower, like an actual way shower. Okay. I'm showing you the way. I'm shining the light. I know it's freaking scary. I know it's scary. And I know that a lot of you guys are viewing me through your 3D lens and you're like, who does this lady think she is? But that's okay. If only one person hears me and turns their life around and stops selling their soul for something that's going to enslave them and be a hollow life. Okay. This is worth it for me. It's worth it. So thank you, everybody. Have a great, great night, morning, wherever you're at when you're listening to this. And please leave me a comment, leave me a comment below. Subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube or you're seeing this on TikTok or wherever. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, repost it on X. Okay. That will be part. If you do that, that will give you cosmic credits. And seriously, it will. And it's your way of helping humanity. So that's another benefit. So you work with Scroll Zero, and which is source. Okay. This is true, genuine source. You will know that you are helping humanity and you are doing something for them. Okay. You can join as a free subscriber to my Substack. You can be a paid subscriber to my Substack, which would be amazing. And you can support me. I have Buy Me a Coffees. I have my community, which is for you guys. And that has Soul University in there, and then I'm in there, and there's a community in there. But really, think of it as like an Akashic record. It's an organic Akashic record. Okay. All the information comes from the organic, and the people who stay in there are the organics. So it's a way to meet other people and feel like you have somebody that understands you a little bit, but you tend to be kind of quiet, which is great. I'm like that too. So I set reality shifters up so that you can just go in to the different categories you're interested in and just read, listen, watch my lives. I've got my lives, my podcasts, everything is in one place. So, and it's a way of supporting me, which I really appreciate. And then you can also follow me on X at Raw Peace 12 2120. So definitely follow me on X. be a free subscriber on Substack, like and subscribe on YouTube, join Reality Shifters, and let's go, people. Okay. Because I've got all the answers and I love it. I love this, you guys. I love this. Okay. I will see all of you next time.